In the town by the bay, they call it the game. Since 1966, Baytown Lee and Baytown Sterling have settled it on the gridiron.
It was like two brothers playing each other in the backyard.
No one was in their homes on Friday night. Everybody was at the game.
And I really believe that this rivalry is one of the best high school rivalries I've ever seen.
For 50 years they played. For 50 years, more than just a win was on the line.
This is not just for Sterling and Lee, this is for Baytown.
It's been a few years since we've played the game, but now it's time to tighten the chin straps and fire up the Friday night lights in Baytown. It's the Ganders of Lee, the Rangers of Sterling. This is for bragging rights. This is for Baytown. You know what's next. It's time to play the game. Welcome to Baytown, Texas. For the 51st time, we will have the game. It's the battle for Baytown as Baytown Sterling at 2-6 takes on Baytown Lee, who's coming into this game at 6-2 overall. It's a beautiful day here at historic Stallworth Stadium, which is celebrating its 50th birthday this season, as we welcome you live to the field for VYPE Countdown to Kickoff, powered by Whataburger, live on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube pages, and also VYPE.com. Welcome everybody to Baytown, Texas for the 51st time. It'll be Baytown Lee versus Baytown Sterling. VYPE Countdown to Kickoff, powered by Whataburger. Joshua Cook along with Matt Malatesta, and you can tell the people behind us, they are excited because that trophy in front of us, Matt, the winner gets to take it home.
Perfect.
So Baytown Lee, Baytown Sterling, they've been playing this game for 51 years, entering this year. And Matt, a rivalry is better than anything in high school football.
Absolutely. You know, this is a big Southeast Texas rivalry. They hadn't played in a couple years. They're reinstating it. This is a big deal for the city of Baytown. And, hey, anything goes, right? Sterling not having a great season so far. Lee's having a great season. But just throw the records out the window right now.
Yeah, here's the thing. Sterling's won that trophy 3 straight years. Back in 2016, they last won it. So can Lee end the run by Baytown Sterling? If you don't know a lot about this series, there's a little history lesson for you between Baytown Lee and Baytown Sterling. 1966, this was the first game in the series. They were only a JV team. They were only a JV team when this series started. 1967 was the first time that they met as varsity programs. Then in 1970, that was the first game here at Stallworth Stadium between Baytown Lee and Baytown Sterling. 1971, well, Baytown Sterling won for the first time in this series. They won 20-19, and then a few days after that victory, a bumper sticker showed up in the city. It said, "How sweet it is." How sweet was the victory for Baytown Sterling? Well, Lee fans didn't like that, so the rivalry was set. 1973 district championship on the line. There were 22,000 fans stuffed into Stallworth Stadium, and Sterling would win that district championship. 1975, Baytown Sterling won 5 of 9. In 91, it was the 25th anniversary of this matchup. And in 2016, the last time this game was played, that was the 50th anniversary. And the score of that opening game, it was 0-0. So that's a little history lesson for you here as we come back to the field. And, well, look who it is. The new host of H-Town High School Sports with Todd Freed, powered by VYPE.
Exactly. How's it going?
It's going great. We're here. Rivalry night. It's a big night in Baytown.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome, B. I've been to this game in quite a while, and there's a lot of excitement brewing. The parking lot's already filling up, and it's, you know, we're an hour and a half away from game time, but we're excited for this and also to televise the game live TV tonight as well.
Right on. All right.
You'll be joining me.
When word association, when you think Baytown Sterling versus Baytown Lee, what do you think of?
Well, you think of Coach Dick Olin and all the great games and all the great quarterbacks from Baytown Lee over the years, dating back to the early 90s. Of course, this game, as Josh mentioned, is now in its 51st year.
Yes.
What else am I supposed to think about? Did I give you the right answer? You think about, you think about this game for the match. I mean, you talk about Texas rivalries.
Right.
And this is just a great one because the community of Baytown, everybody comes together. We had a 3-year drought where they didn't play this game, and so, which makes this game all the more significant. For Baytown Lee, they want momentum in the playoffs. For Sterling, this is their playoff game. This is it. And a chance to beat their crosstown rival.
Yeah, we talk about Baytown Lee. Let's talk about the newest VYPE 5A top 10 in the city of Houston. Willow Ridge Eagles come in at number 10. Lake Creek Lions come in at number 9. Number 8 is the Montgomery Bears, and you see it there on your screen. Number 7 then is Baytown Lee, the one who'll be playing in this game. Then number 6, KD Baytown, they are up there as well. Crosby comes in at number 5. Number 4, the Foster Falcons. Number 3, the Magnolia Bulldogs. And then your top 2 teams. Todd, you know this team really well. Number 2, Manville Mavericks. They were your team of the week last week on the show. And then number 1 is the Fort Bend Marshall Buffs, who, guys, they have not been allowing a lot of points. They've outscored opponents 447-20 this season.
That's not bad at all. I was at their game versus Willow Ridge at the time. Willow Ridge was undefeated, and they were making a big deal about this game, and it was a mismatch. I mean, they just crushed them.
We don't care about them. We care about Baytown Lee.
Well, he brought
in the
it
top
up.
10, bro.
He brought it up.
So, hey, how about that? Baytown Lee, has kind of stubbed their toe over the past couple of years, but now they've got a senior class that's really special, and they're reached the playoffs. Also in this district, Goose Creek Memorial, also from Goose Creek ISD, of course, also making the playoffs.
Yeah, Baytown Lee, the number 1 offense in this district. They have some great athletes, and I'm looking forward to seeing them tonight.
Right on.
Real quick, we'll have to get to the 6A top 20 for VYPE as we run those down. Shadow Creek coming in at number 20, then 19 Ridge Point, 18 the Woodlands, 17 Heights, 16 is Pearland, the Oilers in there. At number 15, it's Atascocita, who took that lumping from North Shore last week. 14 is Clear Springs, 13 is Katy Taylor, and then number 12 is College Park Cavs, which won their first district championship last week in program history. Number 11, the Klein Cain Hurricanes. We know that team. They played Katy Taylor last night, and they won that game. Number 10 are the Katy Tigers. Number 9, Westfield Mustangs. Number 8, the Cy-Fair Bobcats. Then number 7, the Pasadena Adobe Longhorns. Number 6, the Pearland Dawson Eagles. Number 5, the Spring Lions. Number 4, Tomball Memorial. Number 3, Katy Tompkins. Number 2 are those mighty Bridgeland Bears. And number 1 are North. Real quick, guys, that's a really solid top 2 for the city of Houston.
It's really cool to see Bridgeland. We had them last week, but what a team coming off the map and having a tremendous season. They're going to be really dangerous in the playoffs.
Yeah, they got a tough first-round draw with Klein Collins.
Yeah.
I mean, Klein Collins is a type of team that can upset anybody. They almost beat North Shore. We had the game on live TV. So, that's not a gimme by any means, but Bridgeland is a great team. Saw them last week in a barn burner against Cy-Fair, and they won that game.
Does anybody beat North Shore?
In Region 3, no.
In the state of Texas?
Probably not.
In the nation?
Well, I haven't seen all the teams.
You haven't seen all the teams. You've seen a lot.
Sometimes these national rankings, I'm not so sure about.
That is true.
But
you have seen a lot of teams, though. Todd Freed and Matt Malates will be on the call of this one tonight on the Cube 57. Don't forget to tune in to Todd Freed's new show every week. Highlights, Team of the Week, and amazing feature stories as well. Every Monday through Wednesday, 6 o'clock. And then Thursday at 4:30 on AT&T Sportsnet Southwest here in Houston. Todd, we appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me on. This is a great setup you have, and we look forward to a great game. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
He's going to head up to the booth. Coming up next, we are joined live by the head coach of the Baytown Leganders. You see him there, Tim Finn, will join us next here on VYPE Countdown to Kickoff, powered by Whataburger.
People just don't know all there is to know about Goose Creek schools.
This district is the district with giants.
Football.
Be focused and let's get after it.
Volleyball. Band. Dance teams. Drill teams. We even have therapy dogs.
Going to Goose Creek schools is preparing me for my future.
Goose Creek is amazing. Goose Creek is phenomenal.
This district truly prepares kids to succeed.
Well, hello, Ms. Abear. How are you? How are you today, sir?
Passionate educators who live for this.
I know this is crazy, but my favorite class is math.
Here we have a health science academy with experienced instructors which provides clinical rotations in our local hospitals. This is hands-on, brains-on learning.
Why is Goose Creek competitive with any other school district? How is it not?
Goose Creek provides college readiness for all.
Goose Creek schools develop the whole child.
The intellectual, the social, and emotional well-being of every child.
I love being a part of Goose Creek.
Goose Creek.
Here,
We grow giants.
And that's pretty cool.
back here live. VYPE countdown to kickoff. You see it there in your top corner of your screen. 1 hour and 19 minutes and counting until we kick this one off. Josh Cook alongside Matt Malatesta, now joined by the head coach of, I couldn't introduce y'all better than this, the playoff-bound Baytown Lee Ganders. First time since 2009. Tim Finn, congratulations on the playoffs and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Could you say that again?
Oh, the playoff-bound. You like
love
that?
Yes,
playoff-bound Lee Ganders. And, Coach, I would be remiss to ask, is that a pancake chain that you have around your neck?
Just some jewelry I like to wear out on a special occasion.
Do you wear that to
Hey, we got to see that. We got to see that chain. Hold it up real high. That's the most creative chain I've ever seen.
He wears that to Whataburger when he gets his pancakes in the morning.
I've got to explain.
Yes, let's go.
The last interview I did, just to make this real short, Richard Ramirez comes up to me. Coach, yes, what do you want, Richard? He goes, I heard your last interview. I go, yeah? He goes, no love for the linemen? Now, Josh, we talked about the pancake chain, but I didn't mention that it's the linemen. It was designed for our linemen by our team mom and offensive line coach. And so when they get a pancake on the field, they come off and they get to put the chain on.
That is classic.
And so I mentioned the pancake chain, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Nieto boys, Zamora, Richard, and Vasquez. Probably the most underrated part of our team is our O-linemen. So not only did I mention it, I want to throw their names in there.
Well, I tell you what, it starts up front. If any good team is built up front, but hey, let's talk about, some of the stars that we're going to see tonight. Just walk us through, everybody knows Kiki, but kind of walk us through some of these players that we're going to be watching tonight.
Well, Christian Oligi, our quarterback, has, set the district on fire and the area on fire with, he started out the year with a 6-touchdown and a 5-touchdown game. And he has 26 now. So, and I call it complementary offense. Our offense, and Kiki's been good for 4 years.
Right.
And everybody wants to stop Kiki. Well, he has kept everybody honest. And, if you're throwing for 2,000 yards, somebody's got to be catching them. So our receivers have done an outstanding job, Barry and the two Boston brothers especially, and Kiki catching the ball. So they're all in top 8 of the receiving stats. And Aligi's at the top of the passing, and Kiki's at the top of the rushing. So that makes it a tough group to stop.
Yeah. We talked last week. We talked about the playoffs and stuff, and we also talked about this game. This is the first time you've ever coached in this rivalry game. Was it? I know you mentioned this week's not any different, but did it feel a little different at school with it being rivalry week?
Well, absolutely. The kids are always more excited. Really, the whole town is making comment. The people are calling about the game. A lot more questions, a lot more things going on. And the other thing, fortunately, which was a great problem to have, was ordering playoff T-shirts. That's not as simple as it sounds, That could turn into a pretty complicated thing, but that was a fun to have to deal with during the past 10 days.
So when, you go throughout the season, when did you really think, hey, this team has got a chance? What part, was it in the preseason? Was it in the offseason? Was it mid-season? Where did you think, hey, this team has really turned a corner?
Well, we felt like we've been knocking on the door the last 2 years. I think 2 years ago we were 7 points away from getting in, and then last year we were a game away and had some injuries along the way. So this group of sophomore, junior, and now seniors have had their chances with the other groups, but this was a group that we thought, if it's ever going to get done, they needed to do it. Somebody has to step forward and be the group.
Right.
So that's why we operated under the unfinished business tag. We felt like we could have done it the last couple of years and never got it done. So the time was now. There was no more next year's for this group.
Real quick, before we let you go, keys to victory for your team tonight.
Well, I think, our last game we went out and a team that was plus 13 in turnover ratio, we were plus 3 in that game. I think the whole key is taking care of the football and not turning the ball over and doing a great job tackling. And those are the things. The fundamentals of the game are going to make the difference tonight. I think it's going to be a very hard-hitting game. And so taking care of the football ain't going to be as easy as it sounds. Sorry, isn't going to be as easy as it sounds.
All right, he is Tim Finn. He is the head coach of the, I'll say it for you one more time, playoff-bound Baytown Lee Ganders. First time since 2009 they're heading into the playoffs. Coach, thanks for stopping by. Good luck tonight in the game.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Go Ganders.
All right, coming up next in our VYPE Countdown to Kickoff powered by Whataburger, we'll be joined by the other head coach of the Sterling Rangers, Robert Toomer. He is coming up next right here live on the VYPE Countdown to Kickoff powered by Whataburger from Stallworth Stadium in Baytown, Texas.
For the past 13 years, VYPE has been the leader in high school sports coverage. From highlights to in-depth interviews to our 4 annual preview magazines and even a coach's show, VYPE does it all. To stay up to date with all the latest happenings in high school sports, follow VYPE Houston on Twitter and Instagram, VYPE Texas on Facebook, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're always just one click away from VYPE.com. We are VYPE, the leader in high school sports, and we will see you at the games.
Back here live. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 16 seconds. We got the countdown to kick on. The Sterling Rangers are now behind us. Joshua Cook along with Matt Malatesta. Now we're joined by the head coach of the Sterling Rangers, Robert Toomer. Coach, welcome to the game, as they call it down here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Coach, LSU guy, you had a mantra that we talked about early in the season. What do you bring into the ROO? Explain what that means, and explain for Texans what a ROO is.
Well, you know, playing ball at LSU, I never had gumbo before, and then if you know anything about making gumbo, you have to make your roux first.
Right.
Your roux is the most important thing. And when we say what is your roux, that means what do you add to the pot? What do you bring to the table to make sure our roux is going to be continuously good? So we building a foundation right now, and we starting with the ground level, and our roux, it depends on what you put in and what you're going to get out of it. All roux, sometimes roux is not good. You have to keep trying until you get that perfect ingredients. And once you get that ingredients, you built your foundation. So it doesn't matter what you put in it after you have your roux, because it's going to be good.
Talk about this season, Coach. I know overall, you look at the record 2-6, but there's a few games in there that could have gone either way. Those really close losses. What do you take away from those and tell the guys from those coming into this regular season finale?
Well, we don't deal with moral victories. We didn't get the job done. We lost 3 games with a total of 11 points. So it tells our teams and our coaches that we have the capability, but we got to finish. And that's the one thing we've been preaching to our kids. This is our playoff game right here. So we need to finish the season on a good note to step into the upcoming season. This is a backyard burn. It's a rivalry game, and we want to represent our school and Baytown as best we can.
Talk about, give us some of your playmakers on offense, on defense. Who are kind of the fill in the stat sheet for you guys?
Well, I tell you right now, Omar Huntington, who's our outside linebacker, who's been a starter for 3 years, who has over 100 tackles. He is our rock when it comes to our defense.
Right.
He's a senior this year, so we're looking forward to him having a big night, sending him out. Reese Sylvester, who's a junior safety, who has over 80 tackles. And we count on those guys a lot on defense. If you know anything about me, I'll start from defense first. Our defense has been playing well, but our offense has to catch up. We're improving. Richard DeLuna, who's our quarterback, who's passed for over 1,000 yards. So we're counting on him to get our offense going. Garrison Shaw, who's been our center for the last 2 years. So those 2 guys are very, very important in our program. And we just want them to play well. And we didn't come out here to lose. We come to win.
All right.
For this game in this city, I'm sure there's no pregame speech that you have to make in that locker room to get these guys up for this game. What was this week like heading into this game?
Well, this week was a little bit intense. You try to keep the kids' emotions, out of the picture, because sometimes you get emotional, you lose games. So our biggest thing is just keep it even keel. We know
Welcome into Countdown to Kickoff, everybody, as we continue to count it down to the big game, the game in Baytown. Baytown Lee versus Baytown Sterling. And look who we have here, former Baytown Lee quarterback Clint Sterner of AM Sports Radio 610 as well. He's got those gander colors on. Clint, I mean, this is a big week in Baytown for the Ganders and Sterling. What do you remember about the week leading up to this game?
Golly, I don't know how much that's made for radio, right? Back in the day, we probably did a few things that Mom and Dad weren't real proud of. But, I mean, look, the tradition, it was through the roof. I've been gone for a while, so I don't know what it's like now. But I know back when I was playing, it was through the roof. And I hung out on both sides of the track, so to speak. I had really good friends on both sides, whether they were Sterling or Lee. And so I kind of experienced it from both angles. But yeah, it was a week-long event. Obviously, the school had a million different events. And us as the student body, we had our own little things going once the sun went down, and whether it was wrapping houses or forking houses or egging houses or, whatever it may be, there was a lot of things that went on throughout that week that made for a lot of great memories. I run into guys nowadays, and it takes me back to some of those Lee Sterling weeks for sure.
And of course, for people that don't know, in the newest edition of the Goose Creek CISD magazine, there's this pretty cool article in here. I mean, look who's that! The Baytown Bomber himself, Clint Sterner, having a feature in here. And you see that picture of him with the Dallas Cowboys. He played for Arkansas. You even mentioned in this article that when you were with the Cowboys, y'all took a Southwest flight down to come to a game here in Houston to kind of have that Friday night lights, because it's special, right? I mean, it's different, the Friday night lights in Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, I spent an extended amount of time in Arkansas, and I love the state of Arkansas, no doubt about it. But there's several things about the great state of Texas that are just on a whole nother level, and high school football is where it starts. I mean, there's a handful of 5 or 6 programs in the state of Arkansas, literally 5 or 6, maybe 10, that do it the way that Baytown Lee does it, the way Baytown Sterling did it, the way we did it back in the day. There's definitely a different level of football being played here. And when I was with the Cowboys, James Whalen and I, a buddy of mine from Oregon, he was a tight end at Kentucky and a tight end with the Cowboys and a couple other teams. We had to jump a Southwest flight, man. It was a little 45-minute flight from Dallas. We had to catch the Baytown Lee North Shore game. At that point in time, Drew Tate was lighting it up. North Shore, as usual, they were lighting it up. And so we had to get down here and catch a game for sure.
So talk about when you played in this game, and when winning this game was big time, and you, of course, played for legendary Dick Olin, who is the father of 7-on-7 here in Houston. What was it like game week? I mean, do you remember what Coach Olin was like during game week of this game?
Well, no, I mean, he was always pretty steady, man. I mean, that's what the great ones do, right? They don't let their team see them, blink when the week is big or the game is weak, or the game is big, or the opponent is somebody across town, somebody So yeah, no, I mean, I don't remember him being any different. I mean, every game was important, especially back then. I mean, like I said, we were playing North Shore, and Texas City at the time was a Clear Lake at the time was a really good football team. So. Man, it didn't matter. All the Beaumont schools, I mean, they weren't very good from a record standpoint, but, boy, they were athletic. So, I don't think Coach Olin really changed much, man. I just remember it being special for me personally because I knew so many guys over there. I mean, whether we're talking about Jesse Soils, Byron Thomas, Brett Smith, I mean, there's Rocky Bernard. I mean, there's Brian Smith. There's Eric Nichols. I mean, there's so many guys that went on to play college ball, either baseball or football, that, man, I grew up with. I grew up playing Optimist football with. And so that game for me, obviously, was really different. Now, I was able to compartmentalize. I really didn't. The stuff throughout the week was a lot of fun, but it didn't make or break Friday nights. I mean, so once Friday night rolled around, it was time to go play ball. But the memories are of guys, playing against guys for a lot of pride, to be able to walk around with your chest poked out for a year in Baytown, Texas, and beat a bunch of guys that I personally knew really well. I knew their families. And so, man, it was definitely a big week, and I wish I could be there this week. As you said, I got to go to New Orleans, but it's been a while since I've seen the game. It's a special one for sure.
So this interview is going to air in the pregame show. Of course, you not being able to be there. We're recording this earlier in the week. What's your what's your pep talk? If you're in the locker room with the Baytown League Ganders before this one, what are you saying to them?
Yeah, look, it's easy for me, man. I've said this from the jump. I played pro ball, played college ball, played high school ball. If I could go back and do it over again one more time, it would be a high school game in front of my grandparents and in front of my mom and dad and in front of my entire family when everybody was still together and cared about your football career and what you were doing. And it was, if I could go back and play one more game, it would be Lee Sterling week with my entire family in the stands. And it's crazy what goes on throughout a week as a 42-year-old man now, obviously with a real job. If you want to call radio a real job, I know that. It's crazy what goes on throughout the week, and everybody takes the time to buy the tickets, to get ready, to get everybody gathered and go to the game. I mean, I think that's the big point, man. It don't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what color your skin is. You can relate to mom and dad and grandma and grandpa being in the stands, watching you probably for the last time if you're a senior. And that right there in itself would be enough for me to get ready to rock and roll, man. So that would be a genuine and sincere message from me. I tell people that all the time. They don't believe it. I started games at Texas Stadium, started many games across the college landscape. But if I could go back and do it one more time at Star-Wars Stadium, and really, like I said, with and against the guys that I played Optimist football with. There's guys that I played high school ball with that I lined up that I had met playing, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old football in Optimist in Baytown, Texas. And so you just can't get those days back. And as much as today's kids don't quite get that, hell, I didn't get it when I was that age. I would do my dangest to explain to them how big of a moment this was for everybody in their family and how they can never get this day back again. It's a special one.
Well, he is Clint Sterner. He is on AM Radio 610. He is a Baytown League guard. I don't even have to ask who you're picking in the game. I mean, right?
Come on, man. Come on. You know who I'm going with, baby. Come on, and Flying Ganders. They're back to throwing the ball around the park a little bit, spread. So it's nice. It's good to see them back to winning some ball games and this game actually meaning something. So I think the playoffs are right around the corner. So it's maybe just a little bit of a tune-up for the Ganders, but it's definitely a big game for Baytown and guys. There's a lot of folks out there, man, that'll remember this forever.
Well, he is Clint Sterner. We appreciate the time. Former Baytown League quarterback going with the Flying Ganders this week. Clint, we appreciate the time and safe travels this weekend as you head to New Orleans.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me. Go Ganders.
Great interview there with Clint Sterner, the former Baytown League quarterback, thanking him for his time. You can listen to him on Sports Radio 610 here in Houston. Well, the guy who coached Clint Sterner in high school, the guy who made him the legend that we know today, is another legend himself. Dick Olin, the legendary Baytown League head coach, joins us live here on the set on the VYPE Countdown to Kickoff, powered by Whataburger. Coach, you remember a lot about this game. There were some shenanigans back in the day they took out on your front yard, I hear.
Yeah, we've had eggs, we've had paintballs. I had 2 blue geese in my yard one morning, and I had a coach come over and pick them up, to take them to a vet, but I'm not sure that they ever made it there because he might have just butchered them. You never know with this guy. So, but yeah, it was always a lot of fun. We look forward to it. Great crowds. They've had as many, they said, as 19,000 people, and it was just a super atmosphere.
So you're here for 17 years. You won 14 out of 17. But just what do you remember most? What kind of sticks out the most about this game?
It was just the rivalry that existed, the things that happened all week long. They used to have a big parade. They have all kinds of pep rallies. And, it was phenomenal. It was the Lee Sterling, and everything was blue and everything was maroon, and bands competed, everybody competed. It was just a great thing. It's Texas high school football at its best, the top level with 2 good programs playing a lot of people, playing in front of a lot of people. It was a lot of fun, great times.
We're officially under 1 hour until kickoff. Is this the time as a coach that your heart starts beating a little bit more in this rivalry game as you get butterflies a little bit when it's a rivalry game?
Yeah, of course, you always do. And especially, you know, if you have something on the line, like we played them a few times where the winner would get into playoffs and things of that nature. So that's always exciting. And back at those days, it used to be 2 teams that would get in. So it was really important that you win this game. But, you know, we always tried to tell our kids we came here to win a district championship, get into playoffs, and go. It wasn't just about the Lee-Sterling rivalry. And, I mean, Sterling really had some good teams. And sometimes, in my opinion, now that I'm out and I can say these things, they kind of forgot about what happens after. You know, they got so excited about our game that they forgot to play the next week, and that hurt them several times.
So talk about, you know, you set this program up for success, but you also were very integral in setting up the world of 7-on-7 football as it relates to the state of Texas, and how that really changed the landscape of a state that virtually ran the ball every down to now throwing the ball. I mean, how did that happen?
Well, you know, first of all, you either ran wing T or the veer if you were a Texas high school coach. But it happened in '96, and everything was right across the street at Gentry. We had 8 complete football fields out there. We hosted every single tournament in '96. And the reason that we did that was because we had a tremendous AD named Marvin Guy, and we had a tremendous financial guy who said, we'll pay for the insurance. And that was the big sticking point in the beginning. And then in '97, more people got in. Cy-Fair started to host. And, you know, Wayne Hooks and Les Kenning, they were in it from the get-go. And then Lord Rusty Dowling got in it. And, you know, so it just kind of took off from there, and it had a life of its own.
But what about it? What about your offense became so popular? Because you ran in here, everybody wanted to play here. It was like kind of fast break football. Where did you learn this, and how did this develop into the offense you built?
Believe it or not, we ran some of this stuff when I was in college, but it was crazy. But then, you know, we watched Washington State play the University of Houston in the Hula Bowl, and Dennis Erickson was a coach. And then we went to Miami with the Rice staff, because at that time, Mike Heimerdinger was the OC. They were running that offense, and it was trips, empty, all of those things. And we loved it, and so we did it, and we were fortunate to have good quarterbacks and good skill to allow you to do it. So that's what we did. And then the thing with 7-on-7 is we ran our offense the entire summer. It was our kids playing receivers that did it. Our center snapped the ball all the time. So whatever we did offensively, our kids did all summer long. Defensively, we had our linebackers, we had our corners, and so on. But today, and you know this too, Matt, that today these kids, they put in secondary people as linebackers, which they're not going to play in there during the year. So what we try to use 7-on-7 forward is make us better for the fall.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, did you have a favorite year out of this series? Was there one that, like, when you're meeting up with your old buddies, we're going to talk about this one when we get together?
Well, possibly, real quick, we beat them one year 63-7. And the coach said that our quarterback was just a product of the system. Well, it happened to be Drew Tate, my son, who went on to play at Iowa in 11 years in the CFL. So he had 9 touchdown passes, and they asked me, how come Drew threw the ball so much? And I said, well, a certain coach said that he was a product of the system. We wanted him to see how the system worked firsthand, so he did. So that was a lot of fun.
All right, he is Dick Olin. He is a legend. I say legend around the city of Houston. Coach, we appreciate time.
Thank you so much.
This game's a little bit more enjoyable up in the stands, right? Not coaching it?
And you know what? Up there, you have answers. All of them, no problem.
He is Dick Olin. He is the head coach, or former head coach, of the Baytown League Gainers. Coach, we'll let you go enjoy the game. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, we are going to go to break. Coming up next, former Tim Lunkin, former coach on the Sterling staff, will join us here, VYPE Live. Countdown to kickoff, powered by Whataburger, coming from Stallworth Stadium. 55 minutes and counting until the game here in Baytown.
Has been the leader in high school sports coverage. From highlights to in-depth interviews to our 4 annual preview magazines and even a coach's show, VYPE does it all. To stay up to date with all the latest happenings in high school sports, follow VYPE Houston on Twitter and Instagram, VYPE Texas on Facebook, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're always just one click away from VYPE.com. We are VYPE, the leader in high school sports, and we will see you at the games.
right, welcome back, everybody. Joshua Cook along with Matt Malatesta here on the field as we count this one down to kickoff, powered by Whataburger, as you see right in front of me. Now we're joined by a former Sterling coach, Tim Lumpkin. And Coach, welcome to the Countdown to Kickoff show. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Talk about, what do you remember about this rivalry?
I've got a lot of good memories about this rivalry. It started when I was young because my dad was actually on the first staff at Sterling High School back in the 60s. And so I was running nose halls and diapers. And then he was the second principal there after Winnie Brown's at high school. And he was actually principal when I was playing at Robert E. Lee.
Oh, wow.
So we always told people we drew a white line down the middle of the house, and he stayed on his side and I stayed on my side. And they looked at me and go, "Oh, really?" But he was very supportive, came to all my games, and got good memories from those contests. And there's some other interesting facts, too, is that when I left Lee High School and went to A&M, started my coaching career in the Dallas area. And in '92, my high school coaches who were at Lee, Jackie Bird, Carl Scantlin, and Mike Manley asked me to come back and coach with them at Sterling. And so I jumped on the opportunity in '92 and was at Sterling for 26 years.
Wow.
So went through, I believe, I coached with 6 different head coaches. And there have been 9 head coaches at Sterling since I arrived there in '92.
So talk about, being from a family built on education, with your dad being the principal and coach. How important are high school athletics to a holistic student, in today's world?
Tremendously. The values that you learn, the lessons, the hard work, just all those things that are instilled through athletics carry on through that student's life, and I just think it's a tremendous advantage for those students who go through something like that.
Well, we haven't brought this up yet, but then you've got Baytown Lee, Baytown Sterling. What was the community thinking, or what was their thoughts on when Goose Creek Memorial opened? And that really kind of changed the dynamic of this ISD.
Yes, it did. When I was at Sterling, we had 180 kids in the program in off season, and 160, and they took Goose Creek Memorial took 80 of them.
Oh, wow.
And we were left with 80. But you know what the ironic thing was? The following year, we went to the playoffs with those 80 for the first time. We got Sterling back in the playoffs for the first time in 24 years. So, it definitely hurt us in the long run. And we had a good nucleus. Herb Minyard was our head coach, and he did a great job of leading us. And we had Keegan Kugat was our quarterback, and we had 2 good coordinators, and outstanding leadership on offense and defense, and just got us in. We lost a tough game to Pearland in their place, but yeah, it definitely hurt us, and it's changed the complex of this game too.
Yeah.
You're not going to see as many people here tonight probably, whereas in the past we've had Gerald Ford land right across the street here, Star Wars Stadium, in a helicopter and come watch the game in 1976 with a packed house. I believe Lee was the home team that year, and Sterling was was the visitors, and so it's got a lot of tradition, a lot of history, and it's an exciting game. But with the opening of Goose Creek Memorial, and I have to give a shout out to the head coach over there, Shannon Carter, who was on our staff at Sterling at one time, for getting into the playoffs. Tremendous accomplishment. He's a great guy, good coach, and an even better person.
So while you were at Sterling, now, Coach, we need the good stories here. We need good stories. What was your favorite rivalry week? Because there had to be some tricks played and some things done to Baytown Lee's stuff. And what were some of your favorite things that you can talk about?
Well, you always get the people in town who think that they know what's going to happen, and they're going to try to call you and inform you. And I've actually had ex-coaches from Lee send me a packet of all the things that he would do against the Lee program. After he left, I don't know if he was bitter or what. Yeah. but that's one story. you know, just the rivalry, the things that go on around town, it's just amazing. It's great for the students. The parents love it. The community loves it. And the coaches, we always tried to downplay the rivalry because we felt like our kids always played better if they were treating it just like another game.
Right.
And they didn't get caught up. We never wanted our kids to get caught up in the rivalry and go out and do the things that a lot of kids do on the weeknights and things like that. So, but it was a tremendous opportunity for me growing up, and it's still a big rivalry. It brings a really soft spot in my heart.
You know, when I think of Baytown Sterling, and this is a little bit before my time, but Rocky Bernard was, when I think of Baytown Sterling like a word association, I think of him. He had a tremendous career at Texas A&M, played in the NFL for a long time. You know, what impact did he have when he was here?
Rocky was a tremendous talent, and he demanded a double team on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Every time. And, you know, I'll tell you a story. I think it was 95. In 95, we were on the verge of getting into the playoffs, and we went over to Beaumont Westbrook, and we were playing a game, and he recovered a fumble that would have iced the game and gotten us into the playoffs. And they reversed the call, and it was really, in my mind, it was a bad call. But, yeah, he was a tremendous athlete. I followed him at Texas A&M because that's where I went to school. I graduated from there in 1980.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see him go there, and always enjoyed seeing him when he came home, and enjoyed watching him when he played with Seattle and with New York. So he's a great kid and did a lot for our school, promoting our football program.
Yeah.
All right. He is Tim Lumpkin. He's a former coach over at Baytown Sterling. Well, Coach, go enjoy the game up in the stands. I know it's a little more relaxing being in the stands than being on the sideline having a coach or up in the press box.
Definitely. It's, you know, I can be an armchair quarterback tonight.
Perfect. We'll let you go enjoy the game. Thanks for stopping by the VYPE Countdown to Kickoff.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All right, coming up next, we are joined by the head man himself, Lee Martinez, the athletic director of Goose Creek CISD. He joins us next here on VYPE Countdown to Kickoff, powered by Whataburger.
Foundation Chairman, New York's Highline Architect.
Good morning, Mr. O'Brien.
What are we working on today?
Titans of industry, academics, screenwriters, championship robotics, history champions, fantastic arts. It starts with nearly 2,000 dedicated teachers who stay late and come early.
I certainly do appreciate all that you do.
Passionate, change-your-life educators. Our career academies deliver unreal, real-world experiences. Culinary arts, welding, this is hands-on, brains-on learning. Goose Creek provides college readiness for all. Right here is one of the only Apple Distinguished schools. Here, we grow giants.
Back here, countdown to kickoff, 45 minutes and 38 seconds until this one. We are now joined by the head man himself. I didn't know we were going to get this interview. This is the most exclusive interview we've ever gotten. Yeah. He is Lee Martinez. He's the athletic director here at Goose Creek CISD. This is the first Baytown Lee Sterling game for you. We talked about this a few months ago, Battle of Baytown. This is a special game, and especially your first as athletic director here in Goose Creek.
Yeah, I think one of the first things I heard of when I came to Baytown was the Baytown Lee Sterling football game, and unfortunately, being a high school football player myself, I never got to see this game. I've met a lot of players that I played with in college and that are from Baytown and always talked about this game, so this is definitely a first for me. I'm really excited to be here tonight.
Well, I mean, your career is this. I mean, everybody thinks, hey, he was a North Shore baseball coach and was the assistant on the staff. They won state championships, and now you're here. What has the transition been like to being from coaching into admin? How hard is, or how different is that transition?
I mean, it's definitely different, Matt. But I'll tell you this: I think what makes it easier for me is that it is with athletics. Athletics has been my life. I was a coach for 23 years, as you said. So coming in here, learning the different parts of the district, the construction, the maintenance, the grounds, everything that goes with that, it's something I got to pick up the last 2 years under Dr. Mulvaney. But being in this position, man, it's like second nature to me right now.
So talk about, Matt wrote this great article about you in the spring. You take over this job, then, oh, surprise, surprise, here's a global pandemic to deal with. Right. What's it been like, having to get through the spring and then through the fall? And luckily we're here in December still playing UIL sports.
Well, we're blessed to be playing right now. I'll tell you that. If you told me we would be playing right now, I probably would have disagreed with you. But I think the biggest difference for me is normally people become an AD and they're able to lean on people and call other ADs that have been through similar situations. But nobody's been through this. This is new for everybody, so it's kind of been a group effort. I think I mentioned that before with somebody else. This has been a group effort by Texas ADs all over the state, all over the country, anywhere they have athletics.
And the other thing, too, is a big shout-out to the UIL, Dr. Susan Elza and her staff and everything that they've done to make sure that sports are safe, that athletes are taken care of, coaches are taken care of. I mean, the UIL has worked tirelessly to make sure that these seasons are going the way they're going.
No, I agree. Dr. Elza makes herself available to everybody when they come to the AD meetings. She's always talking to us. It almost seems like weekly at times, but their staff does an outstanding job in keeping us updated with all the protocols that we're supposed to use.
What I thought what's cool when we talked before is that you're a coach, you're teaching kids. Now you're an AD and you're kind of coaching coaches. And it seems like you really kind of rally around that. Is that the favorite part? Is that your favorite part of the job?
I think it is, and it really pretty much started when I was a coach. I would, if you're a baseball coach, you kind of inherit some. You inherit some coaches that really aren't up to your standard yet. So you have to coach them in order to become better coaches to implement your program. So coaching coaches definitely became a great thing for me, and I'm picking up pretty much where we left off, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
You've got to be excited, too. Two of these football teams are into the playoffs out of your district. Goose Creek Memorial winning last night against Beaumont United. It gets them into the second place spot, actually, in this district. And Baytown Lee, another program, first time since 2009 for them to be in the playoffs. So you got to be pretty happy athletic director sitting here tonight with two playoff football teams.
Very happy. And I know, listen, I'm very happy with both of them being there. All three coaches work tirelessly. They work very hard. I'm excited for the fact that they're competing at a different level. But last night's win by GCM, man, was outstanding, and it also changed this game. It changed this one up. It puts Lee in a position where they have to win to stay where they are. They could go from 2 to 3 with a loss today, so it just made this game much more competitive.
It seems like Goose Creek CISD is kind of gaining some momentum. You're here, but what do you see the future of the district being?
Man, I think the limits here, we have some very high. We want standards set very high here.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to lose. We want to take Baytown to where it hasn't been in a while. We just had Coach Olin in here, and Coach Lumpkin. These guys were coaching in Goose Creek when it was standards were different. And we want to get it back there. Baytown's hungry for a winner. We want to bring it to them. We got to do whatever it takes to get to where we want to go.
So we are joined right now by Lee Martinez. He is the athletic director here in Goose Creek CISD. And I know athletic directors are Matt just asked you about the future and stuff, and I know future things include facilities and turfing and things like that. And I know right now it's kind of a weird time to be thinking about that. But, I mean, do you have a vision in 5-10 years, like what you want, where you want this athletic department, these teams, these programs, facilities to be?
Absolutely. I mean, we do have a bond in place right now that Goose Creek was able to pass. We'll have a brand new field house here in a couple of years. We'll have new locker rooms here. I know they're going to put some more money into the stadium, and like I said, there's plenty of goals. We want to improve our facilities athletically as well as athletically. So what we mean by that is I want our training rooms better. We love a field, but we want weight rooms. We got to look at every aspect of athletics.
Yeah, when they talk about winning, Matt, you win in the weight room, in the off season, you win in the training room, and things like that. So exciting things happening here in Goose Creek CISD. I know you can't make a pick tonight because from the athletic director's chair, but what do you see on the field time between these two teams, two quality football teams?
So being an old coach, you got to prepare for every situation, right? So I'm prepared for that question. So I do have a prediction.
Okay.
I'll make a prediction right now.
Okay.
Baytown wins.
He didn't say which one. He didn't say Baytown Lee or Baytown Sterling. Of course, this game is also being broadcast on Q57, also right here on VYPE.com as well. Matt Malatesta is getting ready. As you can see, he's very dressed up for tonight for TV. You're getting ready to head up to the booth, and you need to make your pick. You need to make your pick, and the only way Matt Malatesta is going to make his pick is you got to pick between Baytown Lee and Baytown Sterling. It's either the Ranger or the Gander. Who wins this game tonight?
I got to go with the Duck.
Oh, no. Here it comes. He's actually going to put it on. He's going to go with the Duck. There it is. Matt Malatesta chooses the mighty Ganders to win this game. And I like it. I like it. Yes. Matt Malatesta going with the Ganders. He is Lee Martinez. He's the athletic director. Big thanks to you and your staff for helping us all week long get ready for this. This has been a lot of fun to do this countdown to kickoff live here on the field.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, that's Matt Malatesta. He will head to the broadcast booth now as he gets his duck head off. If you have a hankering for a hot off-the-grill burger with fresh, never frozen beef made just the way you like it, but don't want to leave your humble abode, you're in luck, because Whataburger's new delivery makes it easier than ever to get your hands on all of your made-to-order favorites, from burgers to breakfast and anything in between. Whataburger will deliver it conveniently right to your doorstep. Just download the app or go to Whataburger.com to get all of the food you love without ever leaving your couch. One of those things you can order is a Dr. Pepper shake with its signature blend of 23 flavors. The taste of a Dr. Pepper is unlike anything else. At Whataburger, we're mixing up our own unique blend of flavors with the Whataburger Dr. Pepper Shake, a rich, cold, and creamy Whataburger shake mixed with the delicious flavor of Dr. Pepper. This iconic duo won't be here for long. Treat yourself to Whataburger Dr. Pepper Shake for a limited time. Big thanks to Whataburger being the official sponsor of tonight's countdown to kickoff. As you see there, 37 minutes until we get this one going. And a bit of a set change. You saw everyone running around like crazy. And, oh, look, who's here? David Francis of VYPE Media, our digital editor, has joined us now. And also Dr. Demetrius McCall, the Deputy Superintendent of Goose Creek CISD. Well, I welcome you both to the VYPE Countdown to Kickoff.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. David's been behind the scenes doing like Insta Story and all those things to get ready for this game. Dr. McCall, I know this is going to be exciting. This is your first Lee Sterling. You were hired by the district back in July 2020.
Yes.
It's been a very interesting fall for sure. How has it been, having to deal with everything that has happened this year?
Well, I think you captured it. It's been a really interesting fall, to say the least. But what I do know is that as a community, as a school district, we've really come together to make sure that we provide as many opportunities for our students as possible. And so to have nights like this where the community can come and celebrate through a good game of football is always awesome.
Now, a little background on you. You got your undergrad at Western Michigan, master's at the University of Houston Clear Lake, and then your doctorate from Lamar University.
Yes, sir.
So it makes me think, when you got degrees from different universities, do you just like wear one piece of everything on Saturdays? Like you wear a Lamar hat, a Western Michigan sweatshirt? What's the wardrobe?
So Fridays are a bit challenging, but I have all three schools represented. I paid a lot of money for the education, so I might as well represent the schools. But very proud of all three institutions. Nothing like the undergrad institution back where I'm from is Detroit, Michigan. So really excited to represent all three.
Talk about back in your high school days.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember like nights like this, Friday night, big games, things like that?
Well, in Michigan, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
There's nothing like Texas high school football. I'll be the first to say that, and it's certainly nice to see it. It's more like a production. But certainly Friday nights were special even in Michigan, but nothing like this, nothing to this degree.
Yeah, so I'm sure this season has been very interesting, right, with all of the COVID guidelines, and I'm sure that you oversee a lot of different things. Can you talk a bit about, this season in particular, how has COVID, the pandemic, how has this kind of changed things, and how have you had to respond to that kind of stuff?
Sure. Well, I think it's certainly a team effort. Everybody has to do their part, from the teachers and coaches to the administration, as well as our community members as well. Everyone has to do their part to make sure our students can continue to participate in these activities. So how we do practice, how we make sure that the students are social distancing, increasing the communication so that students will feel comfortable telling us if they're not feeling okay. Being sure that when we do get any sort of information about a potential for exposure, that we're addressing it as quickly as possible, and that's what we've been able to do. And so I'm really proud of all of our employees at the district level as well as our community for helping us with this challenge. But so far, we've been making do.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We talk about a year where in the spring everybody has to pivot to go online. Then it's like you start coming back. Well, then certain kids can come back, certain kids can't come back. How much credit do you give to the administrative staffs at every school? I'm talking every school, Goose Creek CISD. I'm talking elementary all the way to the high school.
Absolutely.
The teachers, the staff, the cleaning crews. I mean,
Absolutely.
let's take a minute and thank the cleaning crews because they don't
Absolutely.
always get their nod, but I have seen tons of video of them taking the foggers and going down. Talk about the cleaning crews especially.
Absolutely. Our maintenance and custodial department never had an opportunity to take a break. When this pandemic started, we knew we had to get our facilities ready to one day house teachers and students again, and so they've been going. So, special shout out to those men and women that work tirelessly to make sure that our facilities are clean, make sure that they're prepared for our students and our teachers to make sure that we're prepared to learn. And so for our teachers and administrators, boots on the ground every day working with our students, whether they are in-person instruction or if they are in remote instruction, our teachers are handling both. They have to have students in their classroom with them and also students online, and they've really stepped up to the challenge. And notice I said the word challenge, but they're not running away from it. And so I'm excited. I'm very proud of the work that they're doing, and we want to continue to support them. That is our job.
Oh, that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. What's it like getting to see the students on campus again? Cutting school short, we had online instruction, and now a lot of phasing back into that face-to-face. What's it like getting to see those faces again?
It just reminds us of a sense of normalcy. Any bit of normalcy we can get these days, we really grab onto that and we want to hold on to it. So when I have an opportunity to go and visit campuses on a weekly basis, it's just good to see kids back in a learning environment. Of course, socialization is a little bit different. We have to remind our students of that sometimes, but overall it's just awesome to see them in the learning environment and them interacting with their teachers in a way that's safe and a little bit different, but they're there and we know that they're learning when they're there.
Goose Creek CISD's theme this year, which just got awarded, is Here We Grow Giants. What does that mean to you?
Absolutely. Well, Here We Grow Giants is a theme that we've really carried for the past couple of years before I came to the district. And what I will say, as someone that's new, you have to look at the opportunities that we offer our students here in Goose Creek. And it's every opportunity for our students to be successful so that when they exit our system, we have given them all the tools they need to become giants in our global society. We understand that the work we do will carry our students beyond the city of Baytown, but we also want them to never forget where they come from. And so every opportunity we offer our kids, we really push that to our employees that whatever your role is, our job is to grow giants. And I think we do a great job with that.
You mentioned earlier, you're from Michigan, you're not originally from Texas. I had to ask, in other states, is it just like you put in Friday Night Lights and that's what everyone thinks Texas high school football is?
Yes. Yes. My dad came down to visit a little while ago, and he had a chance to come to a Texas high school football game, and he couldn't believe it. Had to pick his jaw up off the floor, and he started calling all of our relatives back in Michigan, like, you are not going to believe what they do for high school football here. So it is. It's something really, it's a part of the culture, and I've enjoyed being here for the past 15 years and experiencing that.
Is this fun in a night like this where it's a rivalry, the community comes together? I mean, and with high school football, it's not just about the football players and the coaches. It's about the cheerleaders and the band and the fans and everything. It's really the entire thing of high school football. I mean, how much fun is this night for you?
Absolutely. One of the largest exhibitions of our students and participating in activities. So, you get to see the parents here, whether they're here for athletics, fine arts organizations, or a combination of both. What makes this night so special is, both schools have a history in this community that is certainly regarded just by the individuals that are here, and there's a lot of pride here this evening, and so we're excited. And when it's all said and done, there will be a victor in this for bragging rights for the year, but remaining neutral, I'll be doing a lot of clapping tonight for every play, so I'm excited about that.
Either way, you win.
Either way.
One of your teams will win.
That's right. That's right, and that's the awesome thing about it. And so bragging rights will certainly be in order. I expect a great game.
All right, he is Dr. Demetrius McCall, Deputy Superintendent of Administrative Services here in Goose Creek CISD. And we appreciate the time. We appreciate everything that you and everybody in Goose Creek CISD do for the students and teachers and staff here in the district.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, we are going to be joined by the Superintendent of Goose Creek CISD. And he's been the superintendent since August 7th, 2014. Coming up next, he is Dr. Randall O'Brien. He will step in here and join us. He's been a bachelor's degree from East Texas Baptist University, played basketball and tennis there, master's at Sam Houston State, and a doctorate from Lamar University. And well, Dr. O'Brien, welcome to the VYPE Countdown to Kickoff, powered by Whataburger.
Hello. Glad to be here.
What's this night like for you?
It's pretty exciting. We have celebrated this night for many, many years. As you know, Sterling celebrated their 50th anniversary about 3 years ago. That was a big night where we had the game ball dropped out of a helicopter, skydivers, and they dropped the ball down onto the field. And so that was a great celebration, the 50-year anniversary. And so the rivalry's been going much longer than that. And we're excited to be here tonight.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic. You know, we haven't played this game in a while. It's been 4 years since we've had the game. How exciting is it to have the Battle of Baytown back?
So the cool news is the reason why it came to at that 50-year celebration that I was talking about, we had discovered that there was a imbalance in power, so to speak, if nothing else through sheer numbers. Sterling was getting larger and 2,400 students, and Lee had reached its all-time low, probably about 1,500, 1,400. So there was a big difference in the numbers, and over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, we've been able to level that out with other course offerings that we have, other high schools where kids can sign up and go to. So it's leveled the attendance at each of these campuses out. So I think it makes it a little bit more balanced approach. So we're excited to get it kicked off again tonight, and I have no idea who's going to win. Is that the next question?
That's not the next one. The next one we actually get to brag about Goose Creek CISD a little bit. This week you were one of 12 districts selected for Texas School Business Magazine's bragging rights for you all's We Grow Giants program. What does that mean for that program to be recognized on a national level?
It's really awesome. It's sort of funny how that started. I did a presentation at the Chamber of Commerce, and the mayor was the MC of the presentation, and I came up and gave a state of the district. And afterwards, it was kind of quiet across the room because I'd gone on. It was basically I was bragging on the district, but what happened was so many people didn't know all of the things we have going on, our academies and everything we have. And so the mayor got back up and he goes, well, I know all that's true because my kids went through the system, but many people in our community don't know all of the wonderful things going on across Goose Creek. So that was my orders to start some type of campaign to let our public, or just our general public, our own neighbors, know what's going on inside the walls of our schools. So Here We Go Giants was born. Our Executive Director of Strategic Planning, Matt Bollinger, has been the charge behind that, done a fantastic job just highlighting what it is we do on a daily basis inside the schools.
You know, it's been a tough year, and we just recently touched on it, but could you maybe touch on how much the teachers have meant to you and to this district and across the state this year?
Wow, that's an amazing question. You know, I've always called the teachers the backbone of any educational organization. It really begins and ends with teachers because they're in the classroom making the difference for the children each and every day. COVID threw a curveball at us, and obviously, you know, I would say we had a balanced mix of teachers that were technologically proficient and those that were sticking to traditional standard ways of instructional delivery, but COVID said, nope, everyone will become technologically proficient, whether you want to be or not. And so from March on from last year, I would say 100% of our teachers are now have that technology component to deliver. So that's been the biggest difference, but it hadn't meant that it's been easy along the way. So, and for the students as well. technological delivery of instruction is just not the same as face-to-face. So we're anxious to have this vaccine come through and for us to get our land back to the way it should be.
Yeah. Talk about, as you look towards 2021, you mentioned the vaccine is on its way, an amazing job by doctors and all around the world to push that through as fast as they have. What goals do you have for Goose Creek CISD as you look towards 2021 and beyond?
Well, everyone says I'd like to get it back to normal. Well, I don't know if there's ever going to be the old normal again, because, but what I would like to get it back to where everyone feels safe and secure and just doing their job as far as our employees go. And then for the students, for them to have a safe and secure environment, that's our objective to provide for them while they're getting their education. And that's what I want to get back to, where everyone feels that. There's not that risk, that cloud of risk hanging over your head, whether you go to school or don't go to school, whether you stay virtual or don't stay virtual. I think that's what we really, all of us, are sitting on the edge of our seat for, just to get that back to where we're in some sense of normalcy. But more than anything, just have the participation and involvement with all of the programs that we have here. Athletics is phenomenal, and this year we're culminating probably a 3 to 5 year march towards this success. I don't know if y'all know, but we've had 3 different teams advance to playoffs this year, and that's the first time in a while that we've had that many teams in 1 year advance. Usually it's onesies or twosies here and there, and we're excited about that.
What, on nights like this, when you see big rivalry games, does this bring back memories of high school for you on Friday nights and going to big games and stuff? Do you have any fond memories or anything like that?
Absolutely. Well, home crowds are just hard to beat. When you've got home crowd on both sides of the field, it brings about an electricity for the players to feed off of, and to know that their parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles are all in the bleachers. So these hometown rivalries, our community really does look forward to them, so that they can come and show their colors, crimson, maroon, or blue, or red. And so it's about showing your school's pride and spirit, and feeling the electricity bouncing off these kids because we're sitting up here in the stands cheering them on.
Yeah, Dr. Randall O'Brien of Goose Creek CISD. The one exciting thing that for VYPE is, we're partnered with Goose Creek CISD, and right there, that's the brand new Goose Creek CISD Fall Magazine, where we show off all the student athletes, their accomplishments, alumni, and different things like that. This is an exciting product for us. We love putting this together, and the students love going. We take the photo shoots to every campus, and this is exciting for the kids to see this.
It really is, and it really, what you have done is address a feeble attempt on our part in years past to highlight our students and to try to give them a CD or something, some type of video clip here or there. Y'all have taken that to a whole new level, and we are so grateful for VYPE and what y'all mean to high schools across Texas and America. We're just very, very grateful to be a partner with you, and we look forward to years to come.
Yeah, and how about this? Countdown to kickoff, an hour-and-a-half show from the field. This is exciting stuff, too.
It is exciting, and it's just the perfect temperature tonight.
It is. I haven't lost feeling in my fingers yet, I promise.
Almost.
I can feel them still a little bit. Well, Dr. O'Brien, we appreciate everything that you do and your staff does for the teachers, the staff, the students at Goose Creek CISD, and us at VYPE. We are excited to continue to grow this partnership years and years and years to come down the road.
Well, my pleasure to be here, and thank you for all that you do to bring recognition to our students. Thank you.
All right, VYPE countdown to kickoff, powered by Whataburger, is going to come back after this break. Hey, coming up next, it's the moment we have waited for all day long. Country music star Ray Lynn will join us live to make a celebrity pick. We'll also ask her about her new album, Baytown, which is dedicated to her hometown here in Texas. VYPE countdown to kickoff, coming back after this, powered by Whataburger.
People just don't know all there is to know about Goose Creek schools.
This district is the district with giants.
Football.
Be focused and let's get after it.
Volleyball. Band. Dance teams. Drill teams. We even have therapy dogs.
Going to Goose Creek schools is preparing me for my future.
Goose Creek is amazing. Goose Creek is phenomenal.
This district truly prepares kids to succeed.
Well, hello, Ms. Abear. How are you? How are you today, sir?
Passionate educators who live for this.
I know this is crazy, but my favorite class is math.
Here we have a health science academy with experienced instructors which provides clinical rotations in our local hospitals. This is hands-on, brains-on learning.
Why is Goose Creek competitive with any other school district? How is it not?
Goose Creek provides college readiness for all.
Goose Creek schools develop the whole child.
The intellectual, the social, and emotional well-being of every child.
I love being a part of Goose Creek.
Goose Creek.
Here, we grow giants.
And that's pretty cool.
Welcome back. Countdown to kickoff. 19 minutes until we kick off the game. And look who has wandered onto our set, the country music star, Ray Lynn.
I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I mean, we got to talk about your outfit first. I mean, this is a custom. I mean, we got Baytown Lee, we got Sterling.
We got Lee and Sterling. I was just trying to decide if I wanted a Lee dress or a Sterling dress, but I felt like I'd keep it Switzerland.
Why not both?
Why not both?
Why not both?
I wanted them to know I support both teams. No, but my family, my brothers and sisters went to Sterling, but my best friend and my mom went to Lee.
So for you, I mean, what's it like to be back in Baytown for this game, getting to sing the national anthem here in your hometown?
Honestly, when I got asked, I felt just super honored because anytime I get to come back to my hometown and show a little love to the place that made me who I am, it means the world to me. So I feel honored to be here, and I love my town so much, my hometown that made me who I am. So to be here, I've been to this game several times, even though I didn't go to either of these high schools. I think that's one thing about Baytown that's so awesome is we all support each other. And so, but yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. You know, you talk about Baytown, you talk about this being home.
All the time.
Your newest album, it's called Baytown.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you to get to make this album that is about your hometown and about how you grew up and where you grew up?
I was thinking about what makes me different when I moved to Nashville for country music, and it's the fact that the way that I write music is the way that I was raised, and where I was raised is here, and these are my stomping grounds. And it anytime I do something a little off color, I'm like, oh, that's my Baytown coming out, or that's my Baytown coming out. And so I just say it so much, and I love being from here, that I knew that it was the only way to title my record, because it's what makes my record different is the fact that I was raised here.
Yeah, and your opening track, Keep Up, you know, you say I've got a little Baytown twang in that. Do you have, I mean, you must love every song that goes on on the album, but is there one that meant a little bit more to you?
Oh my gosh, probably Fake Girl Town, because I love that song because it was about me moving to Nashville and how it was hard for me to find my tribe of friends there, because I had just such great friends here in Baytown that, you know, you can't recreate those friendships that you've had for years and years. So probably that one, it hits a little more to home for me.
Yeah, well, not just Baytown, not just the new album. You were recently in a Hallmark Christmas movie with some pretty big stars, I must say. What was that like?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. Honestly, the main thing that I was excited about is we shot it this last September, like not even that long ago, and we were gonna have to act like we were cold because we were like, you know, in full Christmas, like winter attire, but it was actually really cold in Charlotte the day that we filmed, and it made me like, I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I knew I would not be able to fake being cold.
Exactly.
Like, I was about to be like, whew, when I wasn't cold. But it was honestly such a great experience. I grew up watching Hallmark, so to be on a Hallmark movie was a dream come true.
Like one thing you can check off your box.
Oh my gosh.
You can go home, you're like, Mom, I want a Hallmark movie. I know my mom, she loves those Hallmark movies. Like, she's been literally running them 24 hours.
I love it.
I mean, in that movie, I mean, you got Kix Brooks in there from Brooks and Dunn, Sarah Evans, Winona Judd. I think from the preview, I saw you sing a song with Sarah Evans. What was it like to have that collection of talent, and also Kix Brooks in a Santa Claus outfit?
Oh, I know. Kix Brooks is one of the coolest people ever. But just to like sing with Sarah, I've been on tour with Sarah. That was a blast. She's so sweet. And then you just that's what is so awesome about country music, is we all come together to do things like this. And so the fact that we all decided to last minute do a movie that's about Nashville and about Christmas is super cool. But yeah, Winona's so cool, but Sarah Evans is a doll.
And another thing about Christmas is you just released a couple Christmas singles as well. You cover Silent Night, but also one of those is Jingle Bell Drunk, who by the way, Susan Pauling, who's back here running our thing, she actually pulled it up and played it before while we were setting it up, and we thoroughly enjoyed the Jingle Bell Drunk.
Thank you. Sometimes that's the only way to get through the holidays, you know? And I just had to write a song about it, so.
Absolutely. Well, you've been singing for a while.
Yes.
Long before The Voice.
Yeah.
And in that time, I'm sure that you've sung a lot of songs. Is there any one that maybe means a lot to you, maybe, you know, was a big moment? You know, what's maybe like a favorite along the way for you?
There's so many that's been a favorite for me. I would say I have two. God Made Girls, because it was like my foundation song that really got me a lot of just heat at the beginning, and I just believe that God made girls to make this world go round and round and round. And also Love Triangle, which is about my parents' divorce. And I don't know, there's just something about that song when I'm driving around my hometown. It hits me in a different way because I just that song really means a lot to me, and it's just been such a staple in my life, and seeing how it's helped so many people, so many kids that have gone through divorce, I would definitely say that one.
And you know, you talk about just your journey, and so you started on The Voice, and then ended up in Nashville, and now you're at this point of your career. If there's like a young girl or young boy watching this and go, you know, hey, I want to get to Nashville, I want to become a country star, what's your advice to them?
My advice is start where you're at, start local. I mean, there's nothing that's keeping you from learning like how to play an instrument or get creative. I learned on YouTube. Like, I just wanted to do it. I figured it out. I had a crappy guitar that I got at Walmart, and I learned how to, you know, play on just chords from YouTube and start learning different songs. And then, you know, upload stuff on YouTube and just start getting yourself out there. I mean, you just kind of gotta, and never let no stop you. I mean, I heard no so many times, but I just kept on going, and I think that's super important. And just write every day. I write every day. I try to.
And with that, you know, with your Baytown album, you're on YouTube. You're big on YouTube, and part of that's your Baytown Diaries, and you really tie every song back to Baytown. How special was it for you to make that video series?
It meant a lot to me, honestly. I got to go through all my old laptops, which is such like a curse because like you spend so much time, but to like be able to relive those experiences and it was honestly so much fun to make. I got so sucked into like looking at old videos. It was so crazy. I was just like sending them to random friends, and it was really cool.
Your coach on The Voice, I think, was Blake Shelton, and then you ended up going and singing with Blake Shelton, Miranda Lambert, and all those people. Like, what was it like starting? And then you were opening for like, did you ever get kind of like starstruck? And another part is who's been the most starstruck that you've been around in country music, like Dolly Parton or someone like that?
Oh my God, I cried when I met Dolly. I would say, I mean, I was pretty starstruck when I met them all at the beginning. It's weird now. Like, I always have to like pinch myself and be like, oh no, this is not normal that you get to hang out with all these people, like, you know. And so, but it's weird because it is such a cool thing that I get to hang out with. But they're all just so normal. That's why I love country music is, you know, they really like Blake. The person that he is on stage, or the person that you see on The Voice, that funny, country, awesome, fun-loving dude, like that's who he is. And same with Dolly. Like Dolly is just a gem of a human being. So like when I started crying, she goes, "Now stop crying, you're gonna mess up your makeup." And I was like, I can't. It was so funny.
Yeah, and of course Dolly Parton, she coming out with her own Christmas album, Holly Dolly Christmas.
She's the best.
she is awesome. Well, it's come to that point where we do pick 'em, and I know you're kind of Switzerland over there, but we'll pick the game as well. I'll start with you. I know you're probably not going to pick.
I'm going to let you talk logistics, and then I'm going to listen, and then I'll just tell
you.
Okay,
I'll talk logistics. Okay. So David, this is the thing. Baytown Lee brings a big running back, Kiki Davis. He's got almost 1,000 yards. The quarterback is big. I mean, I got to go Baytown Lee. I think Baytown Lee wins this game. They're going to go to 7-2 and roll into the playoffs.
You know, I didn't want to come into this game with any preconceived notions. I didn't want to come in and say, oh, well, Lee has the better record. They're going to win. But when you dig into the stats, when you look at some video, it's Lee. It's Baytown Lee. They're there, and I really think that they'll probably take it tonight.
You think so? All right.
All right, down to you.
I don't know. I think I'm getting nervous. I have to pick. Okay, I'm going to go with Lee.
All right, it's a sweep across the board. Look at it's all the Ganders.
I love you guys too, Sterling. You guys are great.
It's awesome. Ganders across the board. Big thanks to everybody. 10.5 minutes until kickoff. That'll do it for our show from the field. So keep it on VYPE.com, as that's where the live broadcast will be. Garrett Jones will be on the call. Big thanks to all our guests: Todd Freed, Tim Finn, Robert Toomer, Clint Sterner, Dick Olin, Tim Lumpkin, Lee Martinez, Dr. Demetrius McCall, Dr. Randall O'Brien, and of course our celebrity picker, country music star Ray Lynn. Also thanks to our producer J-Dub and all our on-site staff. From Matt Malatesta and David Francis, I'm Joshua Cook. Head over to VYPE.com. Like I said, that's where the game will be. Baytown Lee, Baytown Sterling coming up next live. And by the way, if you need a Christmas gift, Baytown is available in stores right now.
Go get it.
From Raylan. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
We can't wait to hear you sing
the
national anthem.
Yes.
All right, that'll do it for us. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Enjoy the game.